is Socrates. He's on the move, and they're going to look for Socrates in the corner. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the Bronx will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Mowbray moving in. Sends one on goal, and he scores! And it is a power play goal!
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front. Makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Smith delivers. And that's hit back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship. Live from the Apex in the Bronx, New York, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the 2024 Charter Public School Athletic League Boys B Basketball Championship. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, alongside my broadcast partner, David Pizzuto. And Dave, it's a big day down on the court for all of these athletes competing for a CPSAL championship. But for us, today marks the first time we are covering basketball here on the PDF Sports Network.
Yeah, it's a great observation, Joe. We've been, PDF Sports Network has been involved with the CPSAL in the past. We covered a soccer championships in Brooklyn, I guess a few months back now, but here we are on the hardwood, our first ever basketball broadcast, and really no greater show, Joe, than for not one, not two, but three championship games here in the Charter Public School Athletic League. Of course, beginning with the Boys B final, where the team right now, Bronx Prep, is collected. We're still waiting for Williamsburg to take the floor.
Well, Dave, it's also our first triple header here on PDF.
That's right.
We've never covered 3 games in a single day either. We have covered 2 games in a day, never 3, so a big day for us here on PDF, in addition to being a big day, of course, for the 2 teams competing in today's championship. Of course, those 2 teams, as you see on your screen, the Bronx Prep Trailblazers assembled at their bench. Unfortunately, right now we are still waiting for the Williamsburg Prep Wolves to arrive. But, Dave, earlier in the week, these 2 teams punched their ticket to this game by virtue of victories on Wednesday night.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for Bronx Prep, they've played more games than Williamsburg has this season. But what a gritty win over Urban Dove earlier this week. Coming away with a 10-point win, a game that was close in certain stages as well. So being able to punch their ticket here. And, of course, Williamsburg, doing the same, very similar fashion, very low-scoring game they had, but they, too, punching themselves into this with a 10-point win.
Well, very often these championship matchups can become grinded out, back-and-forth affairs. Typically, you don't see games where the teams are sprinting up and down the floor, playing very fast-paced. Oftentimes, playoff games, postseason games, championship games are played one possession at a time, very methodically. So I'm very interested to see how these 2 teams will approach this game. Of course, you and I have not seen either of these 2 teams play before. Stats are limited. However, we do have experience covering CPSAL championship action in the past. Now, that broadcast didn't go exactly as we had hoped. There was not power to supply any of our devices when we covered the soccer championship late last year now. It's hard to believe that was last year already, but we covered their soccer championship in the fall. We did not have audio during that game, but those games, or I should say the second of those 2 games, came down to penalty kicks and a thriller. We can only hope for more of the same here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what the coaches said in the soccer championship, so the same thing that both coaches want in this game, Joe, which is to get out to a fast start, to get out in front, to play with the lead. A lot of, these teams normally don't play in front of, huge crowds or in NCAA gyms like this. So, some of the nerves are going to be there. Some of the tightness in the belly is going to be there. The game's an early game here as well. So, you want to get all of that out of your system, and you want to really come out fast, play with the lead, force your opponents to really feel the pressure of a game of this magnitude. Obviously, that's what both coaches want coming into this game. We'll see if both teams can execute.
Well, it looks like the Wolverines have arrived. Now, based on the front of their uniforms anyway, it is the Wolverines, not the Wolves, though. We'll call it an abbreviation on our opening graphic as the Wolves, or I should say the Wolverines, are making their way into the gym. So Williamsburg prep is here. But speaking to your point, Dave, getting off to a good start in games like this, it gives you that margin for error in those all-important closing minutes. And here in the CPSAL, those closing minutes come a bit faster. Just 8-minute quarters, 4 quarters, as you would see in a traditional basketball game, but 4 8-minute quarters, so only 32 minutes of action in this one, and that makes those opening minutes that much more important.
Yes, absolutely, and of course with no shot clock here in the CPSAL, you have to be good with the basketball in your hands. You got to have high pressure defense when you're on the defensive side of the ball, so it puts a lot of the onus on the ball handlers, the ability to get the passes off, Joe, and the ability also to stay patient, and work for the right shot, get your guys open underneath, get those, high percentage points in the paint that both teams want to do as well. Both teams come in with a little bit of size to their advantage too, and they want to be able to take advantage of that in a game like this. We talked about the opening minutes, but also the closing minutes, being able to keep the ball in your hands, not commit turnovers. And then, Joe, when you do get to the line, the free throws are going to be huge in a game like this as well.
You cannot leave points at the charity stripe in games like this. Those free throws, always so important. But something else that I'm very interested to see in this matchup, Dave, is whether these two teams will play a game that is dominated by outside shooting or dominated by scoring in the paint. Typically, these different leagues, we've covered basketball, obviously at the collegiate level, we see a lot of college basketball, and those familiar with Lehman College have also seen plenty of college basketball as we cover the game from the Apex here today. But every league, whether it be collegiate or like the CPSAL, a bit of a smaller league, they have their own personalities. Is scoring dominated by outside shooting? Is scoring dominated by players who thrive around the basket? That's something that I'm very interested to see tonight, and I have a feeling we'll find out in the early minutes of this game where most of the scoring is going to take place, or perhaps could be a league dominated by defense. You never really know until you see the teams take the court.
Yeah, 100%, Joe. And, again, which teams could lift themselves up, over adversity as well. And here we are, just just 10 minutes away from opening tip, and already we do have one team that has to overcome adversity, Joe, and it's Williamsburg. Now, we do know, most of us who are watching are within the region, heavy rains, downpours, so much water in the tri-state area. Williamsburg just got to the gym, Joe, just a few minutes ago. In fact, not even all of their players are on the court yet. So what the CPSAL has done, Joe, is they put 10 minutes on the clock, and we do anticipate that tip-off will be about 10 minutes delayed here. But Bronx has been in the building already for a half an hour. They've been shooting around. They're loose. They're smiling. They're comfortable. Williamsburg still has to start taking some warm-up shots. So can they lift themselves off the mat here and be crisp early? That's going to be a big worry for Coach Long coming into this one for Williamsburg, and we'll see if they can respond from that early adversity.
Perhaps a bit of a home court advantage for Bronx Prep as well in this game. They didn't have to travel very far. Williamsburg, a neighborhood located in Brooklyn, so they didn't have to travel too far to get here. We came in from New Jersey today. I traveled out to New Jersey from Staten Island. Fortunately for us, not much traffic. We were here just inside of 2 hours before our scheduled 12 p.m. tip-off, but for a team arriving late, you said it, they may not even get the benefit of a shoot-around, Dave. The Wolverines have not taken the court and started putting up some shots yet. Meanwhile, on the floor, the Trailblazers continue to get some shots up. As you see, the clock is now inside of 10 minutes until tip-off, which would have us set to get underway at approximately 12:15.
Yeah, and again, even with the clock counting down, Williamsburg still does not have any of the basketballs in their hand. They still haven't taken shots, and we don't see their coaching staff yet on the court either. Only 4 players right now in the dark-colored black and, of course, forest green tops for this one. And Bronx coming in with their road jerseys. They'll be in the team in white, and a bit of adversity that Bronx had to overcome, Joe. Pretty much 500 this season, but they've scratched and clawed and worked their way, of course, into the playoffs, and then an emphatic win a couple of nights ago to get to this stage here. And now they have a chance to collect the B championship. It's great great sign for Coach Cornelius and his boys.
Well, speaking of 500 teams that made a splash in the postseason, those from around the New York area and specifically where I'm from on Staten Island know what you can do with a 500 record, as Wagner went on to win the NEC and advance not only into the play-in round, the first 4 in the NCAA tournament. They went on to face UNC in an opening round game. Of course, Wagner coming up short in that game the other day, but a huge accomplishment for them following what was a 500 season during which they had to overcome plenty of adversity. They had only 7 players by the time they went into that NEC championship tournament. They were able to pick up the victory in the championship game, win a game in the first 4, and then move on to face UNC where they lost. But a 500 record means nothing come playoff time. All of those playoff games count just the same, and now a chance for Bronx Prep here today following a 500 season to capture a B Division championship.
Yeah, that would be such a great story for, again, Coach Charles Cornelius and his group here, really looking for that championship and really something to kind of take back into the off season and something that they can look forward to and continue the building blocks of this program. And as for Williamsburg, 7-3 during the regular season in their division, so did take care of some games via forfeit as well, but they were still a really good team. And then that 10-point win in the semifinals for them cemented their place here, and it was a strong defensive game for Williamsburg in that game, Joe. And we would expect that they want to play that kind of game against the Bronx, a team that they don't have a lot of familiarity against. You start games and you win games with defense.
No question about it. They always say defense wins championships. And taking a look at the 2 games that earned these teams spots in today's championship, Bronx Prep scored 68 points in just a 32-minute game. That's a pretty impressive number for just 32 minutes. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Williamsburg held Urban Dove Brooklyn to only 43 points. So something has to give. That's a big differential. 68 scored, 43 allowed. We'll see whether it's defense or offense that reigns supreme in today's championship game.
Absolutely, and like Joe mentioned, this is the first of 3 games here that we will have on CPSAL TV's YouTube page. Later on in the week, we will broadcast these on PDF Sports Network as well. But coming up approximately an hour and a half from this game, although perhaps the 1:30 start is a little bit ambitious since we're getting started late here. It'll be Dream against Success Academy of Manhattan for the girls' championship. And then later on this afternoon, Success Harlem takes on Earl Monroe New Renaissance School for the boys' A championships. Looking so forward to those 2 premier championships, Joe.
No question about it, Dave. We have plenty to look forward to here on CPSAL TV today, but with about 5 minutes to go until tip-off, we will step aside and take a quick break. When we come back, we will have the start of today's CPSAL Boys B Basketball Championship as the Bronx Prep Trailblazers take on the Wolverines of Williamsburg Prep. And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network, streaming exclusively today on CPSAL TV for this boys B basketball championship. Starting lineups are about to be introduced down on the floor, so we will send it down to PA as the starters are introduced for both teams ahead of today's championship game.
Starting number 22, Ilan Bosco. Number 32, Emery McLaughlin. Number 20, Isaiah Pimento Miranda. Number 2, Isaiah Rogers. And number 10, Jazier Williams. And now, for your home team, Bronx Prep. Number 3, Jordan Williams. Number 4, Omari Robinson. Number 5, Elijah Allison Hunt. Number 24, Cameron Parker. And number 12, Gideon Nana. That is your starting lineup. Enjoy the game, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the game.
Oh. Yep.
And we are back from the Apex in the Bronx with PDF Sports Network coverage of today's CPSAL Boys B Basketball Championship. Dave, we are set for tip-off, and there were some discrepancies between the rosters that we came with and the rosters that were introduced, but we do believe we have the starting 5 for both teams. Now, we did not get the first name of number 32 jumping, but it was McLaughlin as that ball was tipped into the arms of Cameron Parker, who lays it in for the game's first 2 points.
Yeah, and we'll get our scoreboard sorted out for you, as Bronx is actually the home team in this game, so I think the scoreboard and our scoreboard's a little off.
Has the steal, and he throws it down with one hand as the Apex comes to life. Cameron Parker at both ends of the floor. 4 quick points and an early steal.
That's the way you start off a game, huh, Joe? 4-0 now in favor of the Bronx.
2-3 zone here for the Trailblazers. As that pass is stolen by Jordan Williams. Williams up the floor to the rim. He lays it up and in. It is 6-0 Trailblazers. Defense leading to offense early for Bronx Prep. And we spoke about it, the Wolverines at the disadvantage of a late arrival. Off to a sluggish start in this one. Three-pointer on its way. No good by Isaiah Rogers. Starting 5 for Williamsburg, Isaiah Rogers, Jazier Williams, Isaiah Miranda Pimental, Kalan Bascombe, and as I mentioned before, I believe they introduced number 32 as Emery McLaughlin, but I could be mistaken. Tough to make out over public address. The speaker is located just in front of the scorer's table. And unfortunately, it did not have the power to reach us here on the second level. Following that last turnover, it is Wolverines basketball. On the wing, Rogers back up top. And that pull-up may have been partially blocked as it does go. Jaden Toas pass with the jump shot. There were substitutions made by the Wolverines following that last turnover. The bench for Williamsburg Prep not liking what they saw from that starting unit early as we reach 2 minutes into this first quarter. On the wing, Williams looks to drive baseline, kicks out into the corner. Parker left open, no good from 3. Toas pass with the rebound. He looks to drive, fights his way inside. Can't get the shot to go, but he grabs his own miss.
Yeah, nice offensive board that time between 2 Bronx players.
And the hook shot rattled out for Tyler Perez. Ball was lost out of bounds off of a Wolverine. And Bronx Prep will take possession. Just over 2.5 gone by in the opening period. Trailblazers lead it 6-2. They came out with a flurry, but the Wolverines have since steadied the ship a bit as that pull-up won't go for Williams. Rebound pulled in by Perez. This is Isaiah Gibbs from way downtown. No good off glass. And the rebound is chased down by Williams. Bounce pass to Robinson. He kicks out into the corner. Frimpong for 3, no good. And the rebound is pulled in by Isaiah Gibbs.
Yeah, so Bronx cooling off just a little bit, especially with the outside touch here.
That pass was knocked down as I'll quickly get you the starting 5 for Bronx Prep. Wearing number 3 is Jordan Williams. Number 4, Amari Robinson. Elijah Allenson Kanye wears number 5. Gideon Frimpong wearing number 12 today. And Cameron Parker wears number 24. That pass thrown away, and Parker could not make the save.
Yeah, but Parker, of course, flashing that defense, which Bronx has done a great job so far, getting in the way of passing lanes and turning offense the other way. That time, Parker a little bit late there, getting to that one out of bounds.
4.5 to go, first quarter. Feed goes inside. Keith Thomas Jr. to Perez, no good on the hook. Rebound pulled in by Parker.
Still a nice bit of passing there by Williamsburg, making the extra pass inside, and that time just a little bit unfortunate there, Perez missing the layup.
Pass bobbled, and the pull-up, no good by Allenson Kanye.
Already almost midway through this first quarter here, and Williamsburg kind of locked in at 2 points here, but chances and chances to cut into this lead.
Step back jumper, no good, and the rebound fought for and ultimately pulled in by the Trailblazers. Foul called against the Wolverines.
Yeah, our first whistle here of the period as well, so been basically going back and forth without too many stoppages.
We spoke about it during the pregame, Dave. A lot of these championship games end up being played possession to possession. The Trailblazers were living up to that name, running and gunning early, but they've since been slowed down by this Wolverines defense. That pass tipped and stolen by Perez. Here comes Gibbs. He takes it inside. His floater in the lane, no good. Rebounded by Allenson Kanye.
Yeah, so far the mid-range game has not worked for either team here. We'll see if they go into the paint more.
Allenson Kanye off back iron, no good. Pulled in by Gibbs. He looks to run. That ball was poked at by Williams, knocked away and stolen. 3 in transition, no good by Williams. And the rebound was pulled in by Toas Pass.
Yeah, still a nice look, though, by Williams. 2 versus 3 coming down the floor. Williamsburg let him shoot it, just missed it, unfortunately.
That ball was lost on the drive. Now, I don't have an 11 on my roster for the Wolverines. But 11 is in the game in green and black as that pull-up jumper by Frimpong goes, and the scoreless drought is snapped at about the 2:37 mark in the opening quarter. Timeout called by the Wolverines.
Yep, and it does make it a 6-point game now as we are just about 3 quarters into this first quarter, and a wild and frenzied first 5.5 minutes, Joe, where both teams are getting their chances, especially from in close. Williamsburg just really has been off on the interior, and Bronx kind of using that early transition play. In fact, we'll get a replay of one of their early transition baskets as well. This was the points 3 and 4 of the period for Bronx, coming off of another turnover as well.
Well, early it was Cameron Parker who used his length defensively to generate a turnover, getting in the passing lane, coming away with a steal. That led to a dunk that really energized this building, and it energized that Trailblazers bench. But credit to the Wolverines. They were really able to calm the storm a bit at the defensive end of the floor. Bronx Prep was running on them early. They were creating turnovers and wreaking havoc for the Wolverines at the offensive end. But since then, Williamsburg Prep has done a much better job maintaining ball control at the very least. That being said, it has not translated into points early in this game as they trail by 6 and have scored just 2 through the first 5.5 minutes in this game.
Yeah, I still like the way Williamsburg's been able to move the ball around the perimeter outside of the arc and get themselves some good shots. They just have to start landing.
Looks like there are going to be some opportunities for outside shots against this 2-3 zone. And we'll see if the Wolverines remain hesitant to pull the trigger on those in the half court.
There's another forced turnover, too, as they went 2 against 1 there in the corner, and Gibbs could not control it or went off of his body and out. So there's another turnover here for Williamsburg.
And if you're the Wolverines, you hate to see that coming out of a timeout. On the drive, nice move to get inside, but Williams does not get the roll.
Oh, you said it, Joe. Gorgeous move by Williams. Just couldn't finish there, but went through about 3 players in black jerseys to earn that trip.
And that's a good feed to find an open shooter. But the shot would not go for Gibbs as that pass was thrown away. Gibbs did not see Williams trailing. And they're going to call an over and back against Williamsburg.
Yeah, Gibbs had no choice but to touch up there with the backcourt violation, and otherwise Williams was coming in hot. Williams very active here in this first quarter.
And we have a whistle and a foul called. Offensive foul ahead of the inbound on Mohamed Gaiva.
Yeah, so fouls are now 1 apiece here for each of these teams in what's been a very fast-moving first quarter.
Gibbs will bring it up for the Wolverines. Their deficit remains 6 points. No hesitation by Toas' pass, but the shot won't go. Feed goes inside. Perez, he avoids a defender and scores.
Yeah, and that's just another good look by Miranda Pimentel. That extra pass, finding the player in the lane. That time Perez made it hurt.
3-pointer on its way, no good. And rebounded by Toas' pass. Gibbs on the wing, surveys the floor. Feed inside, reeled in by Thomas Jr. Perez, unorthodox hook won't go. And it's secured by Gaiva, who had it knocked away. And finally, Parker brings it in.
It's Miranda Pimentel with that pass again inside to Perez. Good job finding his teammate. And again, like you said, a little unorthodox of a hook there by Perez, and it landed right in the back of the iron.
Almost a scoop on that hook shot attempt, as the Trailblazers will use some clock here. Now, keep in mind, there is no shot clock.
Right.
So if they are not pressured, they can dribble as long as they please.
Yep. Williams inviting him in.
And a foul is called on the drive by Jordan Williams, who's done a great job getting to the rim in this game. Hasn't quite had the finishes in most cases, but he's done a good job really dissecting this Wolverines defense inside.
Yeah, we talked about it in the pregame too, Joe, how free throws were going to be a big part of this game, especially late in games. These are our first 2 free throws of the afternoon.
And first is no good. Substitution coming on. Daniel Arthur into the game for the Trailblazers following that missed free throw. And the second attempt on the line is good. The lead back to 5.
Williamsburg likely will hold for the last shot here. We'll see, as Bronx putting on some pressure.
Wolverines move the ball up the floor quickly as they find Perez. He was stripped. And it's going to stay Williamsburg basketball with 13.4 to go in the quarter. Bounce pass to Perez. He puts one up and banks it in.
Well, he's been their go-to, Joe. I think it's pretty clear. A lot of their offense will funnel through him today, try to maximize that size.
Parker at the buzzer. Short.
Yeah, he did get it off before the buzzer, but comes up short, and at the end of one, we are at 9-6 in favor of the Bronx, who have led wire to wire so far.
And Dave, during the pregame, we mentioned the scores in the semifinal matchups leading into this championship game, and compared to this, those were very high scoring. We mentioned Bronx Prep in the 60s offensively. I believe the number was 68. On the other side, Williamsburg held their semifinals opponent to just 43 points. Something had to give today, and so far, defense has won through the first quarter.
Yeah, especially those first couple of transition baskets, Joe, came right on the heels of turnovers, and that's what led Bronx to a very quick 4-0 lead, and they've been able to nurse that since here, take a 3-point lead into the first break. But, getting that turnover, maybe maximizing the fact that Williams came in with a little bit of rust on them, showing up late to the gym here, but a couple of quick transition baskets, and Bronx have been able to kind of weather the Williamsburg storm here. As it looks to me, too, Joe, that Williamsburg is going to be really camping inside the paint, really maximizing their size on the interior.
You can make the case after that first quarter that Bronx certainly won the period in transition, but in the half court, when the basketball was not turned over, it was the Wolverines who really had a more effective half-court offense in that first quarter. A lot of the points for the Trailblazers came in transition. Meanwhile, the Wolverines working the ball around the perimeter, ultimately finding Perez inside for the majority of their scoring opportunities, and he leads them in scoring through this first period. In fact, he may have all 6 points.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's really about that extra pass on the interior, not opting for the open look on the outside, force it in there. And Perez, for the points that he has, missed a couple of layups that I'm sure he would want to have back, and I'm sure, 70-80% of the time he's hitting those. So, we'll see if the Bronx can match up what they do defensively as well. As looks like they're at least, they're still working that 2-3 zone.
And that shot was stifled.
A jump ball,
Forcing
however.
a jump ball.
Yeah, Williamsburg is going to actually lose possession on that as we have the arrow that was switched.
Trailblazers basketball following the jump ball call. This is Parker working against Perez. He dribbles back to the perimeter and tries a three. And that's good.
Yeah, there have been some open looks there, and we really haven't seen one yet, but that's one that doubles Bronx's lead.
Feed goes inside off the rim and brought in by Parker. Perez gets back from behind, poked it away, and Parker was able to get a pass off. That bank shot no good on the drive by Arthur. Offensive rebound, Trailblazers. Williams thought about a three. He will try it. Air ball. Throughout this game, now about 9 minutes in, Trailblazers really looking to run. And when they've slowed things down, they really haven't been able to find much offensively as Perez once again scores inside, and it's now a 4-point game.
Yeah, that was one of the few times that Miranda Pimentel passed up on a pass. Went for the layup himself, but there you go. Perez right in the middle of things, scooping up the offensive board.
And the Trailblazers have to love seeing that. Daniel Arthur with an easy two inside.
Yeah, so good work of the clock that time, really fast-paced and working it inside early.
And a foul is called there. No shot attempt.
Get another look at that three-pointer that we saw a little earlier, making his own space on the play. Parker steps back, drains it for our first three of the afternoon.
That matchup between Parker and Perez, one that will certainly be interested to watch throughout the rest of this game. They're matched up right now as well at this end of the floor. As that three-pointer is no good. Rebound tipped and pulled in by the Wolverines. Gibbs on the pull-up. Draws a foul. Free throws coming up here for the Wolverines.
In and out too much.
Okay.
so I would just like follow it. And when you have
Gibbs
breaks,
will attempt
then I
the
would
first
go
2 shots
in,
from the stripe
it's a little
for
hard.
Williamsburg in this game.
Especially
On the other side,
the harried play that-
Bronx with 2 free throw attempts. And the first attempt for Gibbs is good. One more to come.
Yeah, Williamsburg likes this, obviously. Clock is stationary at 6:11 to go in the second, and chance to get some free points here at the line.
Second free throw, no good. Both teams 1 of 2 from the charity stripe. Williams will bring it up for Bronx Prep. Their lead is 5 points. Williams all the way to the basket. Does not get the roll.
Yeah, but you can see Williams is going to be a problem for this Williamsburg defense, just making his own offense, making his own space.
Nice feed inside, but the bank shot won't go. Rebound pulled in, and once again, jump ball is called. Possession will stay with the Wolverines.
Yeah, apologies as we are missing some of these jersey numbers from the rosters that we were provided by the teams last night and this morning. We do not have a number 11 on Williamsburg's side of things.
Back out. Toas pass, can't get the runner to go off glass. He grabs his own miss and can't finish. As the ball was stripped away, another opportunity won't go, and the 4th try is good. Count it, and 1.
Joe, I think that was try number 5 on that possession. If you include the original shot, the 4th opportunity after, I think, is the one that made it in, and now a chance to earn a 3-point play and make this a 2-point game.
We'll call it the 4th attempt for the man at the line right now. That is Jaden Toas pass. I apologize if I butchered that pronunciation. Free throw no good. It's a 3-point game. Williams uses the screen. Thought about the shot, gets inside, and threw one up off the shot clock. Good recovery defensively there to alter that shot. I believe that was Miranda Pimentel.
Yeah, so we're getting another look at that. This is attempt 2, attempt 3, attempt 4, and attempt 5 is the one that gets it in, and that was a wild play. Unfortunately, they couldn't convert the 3rd point on that, but
Perez double team, throws up an air ball, and the rebound pulled in by Gaiva. He had to throw it away into traffic, and we have another tie-up resulting in a jump ball.
Still a nice job there to tie up the possession so that the next jump ball will be awarded to Williamsburg as Bronx is being tested there underneath and in the paint.
Pull-up jumper, short, and a foul was called.
Yeah, late whistle. Williamsburg does not like it.
That will send Gideon Frimpong to the line.
Frimpong listed as number 13 on our roster, wearing 12 here today for Bronx Prep.
Chance to make it a 5-point game from the line. First free throw is good.
Yeah, crucial there as Williamsburg 1 for 3 at the line so far this afternoon, having already missed 2 freebies, and Bronx wants to maximize this part of the game. Coach Cornelius noting the big free throws will be a factor heading down the stretch.
Second free throw, no good. It remains a 4-point game. Gibbs inside, and that pass was last touched by the Trailblazers.
What a look there by Gibbs. That one was on a dart inside.
Perez draws another foul, but could not get the shot to go. And all of a sudden, the Wolverines have really begun to assert themselves in the paint. The Trailblazers have had no problem getting inside. It's been converting on those chances that has really allowed the Wolverines to stay close, or failing to convert on the side of the Trailblazers.
Yeah, and interesting, I don't think Perez was at the proper free throw line. See, he was lined up about a foot above it, and it's deceptive here because there's 2 lines. One is the back line of the volleyball court, and he actually took that free throw about a foot inside the free throw line.
Well, he is going to get 2 free throws from the proper line.
Right.
The Bronx Prep bench didn't necessarily like that.
Right, and Williamsburg cheering loudly as he had missed the first one, now makes it up with a make and another one.
It's now a 2-point game.
Williamsburg 3 for 5 at the line now.
Williams rejects the screen and kicks out to the corner. Frimpong for Bamba, and now Williams has it back. He will use the Bamba screen. Kick into the corner. Parker left open. Air ball. Here come the Wolverines back the other way. Toas pass with the spin, gives it up to Gibbs. Now Gibbs is doubled. He finds an open man in the corner, and Miranda Pimentel can't knock down the 3. Pass tipped, and we'll stay right here.
Yeah, I really like the way Bronx Prep is playing defensively. They're just getting into the lanes, just not allowing Williamsburg to get comfortable with the ball in their hands. See it here again.
Nothing has come easily for the Wolverines offensively as Gibbs can't finish. Perez has the rebound, but he can't get the bank shot to go. That would have tied the game.
That was a nice-looking reverse layup attempt, too, by Perez, but a little too strong off the glass.
Frimpong gives it up to Bamba, and he knocks down the mid-range jumper.
Smooth. Bamba that time, drawing down the mid-range jumper, extends the Bronx to 4 points after Williamsburg has had quite a number of opportunities to tie this game up.
4-point lead for the Trailblazers. And that pass is stolen once again by Bronx Prep. They are all over the passing lanes as Williams stumbled, and they will have to slow it down a bit. Parker looked to take it baseline, dribbled it off his foot. Gibbs has it, and a timeout was called by the Wolverines bench.
Yeah, Williamsburg wanted to travel on that last trip up the floor for the Bronx. Don't get it, but are able to get it via the turnover instead and want to call for time. And I think this timeout, Joe, because head coach Darian Ray Long, of course, sensing that his team has had quite a number of opportunities to tie this game up, and they've been really fruitless on the offensive side their last 4 or 5 trips down the floor, really wants to get his troops reorganized and maybe a bit of rest for some of their interior players. You can see Perez on the bench on their side grasping for some water.
Well, it's been a very physical game so far around the basket and in the passing lanes as the Trailblazers in those passing lanes have began to slowly collapse on the ball handler, double teaming specifically around the corner and on the wings. Whenever the Wolverines have tried to move the ball down into those areas, they've been met with a double team, and oftentimes it takes a lot out of you when you're being harassed by a pair of defenders to try and get that ball away while simultaneously staying in bounds in an area on the floor where oftentimes it's very difficult to do so. And I think that timeout not only benefits the Wolverines in terms of ensuring they keep possession, but as you said, Dave, they get a quick breather as well.
Right.
This unit has been out there for much of the game since that early substitution. As that pass once again was tipped, this time by Arthur, it will stay with Williamsburg here.
Yeah, and again, with only 5 fouls having been called so far through the first 14 minutes or so, it hasn't allowed for a lot of stoppages, a lot of chance to get their breath.
Feed inside goes to Perez. He goes up in a double, and that's no problem for him as he gets the hook shot to go.
Yeah, Perez has been the major source of offense, and once again, Williamsburg whittling the lead down to a single possession.
Williams right to the basket again, and you can count it with the foul.
Yeah, gorgeous play that time by Williams, and some of the things that he's been doing coast to coast in this game. We'll see this one pick up from the half court on this replay.
Well, in terms of getting to the rim with ease, the Trailblazers have had a decisive edge. However, it has been the Wolverines that have converted on more opportunities around the basket. And if Bronx Prep starts to see some of these shots falling, that really changes the complexion of this game as the scoreboard has gone out. So
that probably means it'll go out for us too, as we are connected to the scoreboard. Or our scoreboard on screen is connected to the arena's scoreboard, but score is 19-15. And actually on the scoreboard, Joe, I think that might be incorrect because I think the score was 17-15. With that last basket, made it 19-15, and Williams did make the free throw. So I don't think I'm wrong about that. We'll go back and we'll see the replay on that last play.
Well, the scoreboard won't be in the replay.
Right. Oh, yeah, now they have changed it.
We lost the scoreboard because our device will have to reboot. So
all right, that's no
it
problem.
will come back on its own. However, it will need to reboot first. As that shot is no good. Rebound and basket. Isaiah Miranda Pimental with the finish, and he will head to the line for one more.
Much needed basket that time, a good response, and another opportunity to bring this down to within 2 points.
We've seen a bit more in terms of free throw attempts here in the second quarter, but that attempt won't go. And once again, a missed free throw early in this game. We've seen a few of them. Spoke about the importance of made free throws during the pregame as that pass is stolen. Cameron Burrows had it poked away from behind, and the Trailblazers have it back. This is Williams. He gets a screen from Bamba, and it was a moving screen. Offensive foul called against the Trailblazers. All right, our scoreboard's back. That's what we like to see. Just over 90 seconds to go in the first half, as we're now under the 90-second mark, and Gibbs has made this a one-point game.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of that from Williamsburg. The pull-up jumper, mid-range, but now Williamsburg down by a point, the lowest that they've been down in this game.
Williams kicks out. Robinson, no good from three. And the rebound is tipped and brought in by the Wolverines. And Gibbs seems to be that player on the floor for Williamsburg that likes to create in that mid-range area, as he did on that last shot. There's an air ball, but Gibbs has the rebound around the back pass and kick out, followed by a travel.
Well, I'll tell you, Williamsburg has had at least 7 or 8 possessions in this game where they have had an opportunity to tie or take the lead, and they just have come up empty on each of those chances. And I was going to say, how interesting would it be, Joe, with under a minute to go, Williamsburg grabs their first lead of the game here in the first half. They had the chance. Let's see if Bronx can go back up by multiple possessions here.
Williams inside, and his pass was stolen off the fingertips of Robinson. Another chance for the Wolverines to take the lead. Feed goes inside, and it was tipped. Fight for it on the floor. It's brought in by Williamsburg. Now Perez with a mismatch, and he gives the Wolverines the lead.
Very persistent play. So easy to give up on a play like that, Joe, where you believe you've lost the ball. Instead, Gibbs gets down on the floor, is able to pass the ball off, and of course, as he has been all game, Perez open on the interior. That time gets the layup off the glass to go, and just like that, Williamsburg has reduced a 6-point deficit now to a 1-point lead.
And I think what was key on that play, Dave, the scramble for that loose ball resulted in a mismatch underneath, and Perez converts on what was likely his easiest attempt of the entire game. Had a huge size mismatch, immediately capitalized, was able to post all the way in under the rim and get the bank shot to go, as he worked very quickly following the effort from his teammates to secure that loose ball. And we've seen great effort from both of these teams so far in this game. The big question is whether or not that's an energy level that these two sides can maintain for 4 quarters.
Yeah, well, thankfully they'll get a break in 7.9 seconds, and we'll head into the locker room and kind of regroup and get ready. And for all intents and purposes, even if this goes into halftime, just a 1-point deficit, essentially a brand new game in the second half.
Williams hopes he can change that score, as that shot may have counted, but it will not matter, as it was a bit strong from beyond the arc, and that will do it for the first half. Our score at halftime: Williamsburg Prep 21, Bronx Prep 20. This is the CPSAL Boys B Basketball Championship. And we are back from the Apex in the Bronx. This is Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside David Pizzuto for the PDF Sports Network as we bring you today's CPSAL Boys B Basketball Championship. And Dave, entering the third quarter, we have a good one. Williamsburg leading Bronx Prep 21-20 after the Trailblazers led for nearly the entire first half.
Yeah, well, here's how the game started, Joe. This was the first basket of the game, first possession of the game, transition, boom. Big dunk there. That got Bronx started for a 2-0 lead. And then, Joe, for the next 15 minutes, Bronx was ahead in this game. Williamsburg comes in, scores the final basket of the first half to take a 1-point lead into intermission. They were down on the scoreboard for a good 15 minutes, and that's got to feel really great going into halftime, grabbing that lead for the first time.
If you're Bronx Prep in this game, when you've created turnovers, gotten out in transition, and gotten easy looks around the rim, that is when you have thrived. Also in the half court, the Trailblazers have gotten to the rim at times at will, but have not been able to convert on many of those chances. On the other side, for the Wolverines, they've really done a good job around the basket at the offensive end of the floor. They need to protect the basketball. They fell behind early as the result of turnovers. 4 quick points, instant offense for the Trailblazers. That's how this game got started. An emphatic dunk energized the Bronx Prep bench and this building. The Wolverines bounced back nicely from that and took the lead into halftime. They start the third quarter with a 1-point advantage. I think it's important for them to come out in this second half taking care of the basketball. And if you're the Trailblazers, the good news for you is that you've gotten to the basket at will many times. You start converting on those chances, this game completely changes.
Absolutely. And what I really like about Williamsburg, too, is they stayed true to who they are in that first half. They kept pounding the rock inside. They kept getting second and third chances, and those resulted in some power points. And then when they had to flash the outside game, they made a couple of mid-range jumpers, especially towards the end of the half. They look like a team that's been fully warmed up. Let's see what the second half has to offer.
Taking a look out there on the floor right now, I don't believe it's the starting 5 for the Wolverines out on the floor. Quick glance down at the players out there. I do believe the starting 5 are in there for Bronx Prep. So those early substitutions for Williamsburg have stuck. As that three-pointer is off back iron, no good by Gibbs. Rebound tipped out by the Trailblazers, and we'll stay right here.
Still, nice job by Toas Pass to make that extra pass and get it over to Gibbs, who was open on the arc. And that's something that Williamsburg has done well, too, in this one, Joe, is that they've been patient with the ball. Unfortunately, though, they have turned it over.
That was not a good pass. Perez not ready for it. That's what I said, Dave. In transition, off of turnovers, Bronx Prep has thrived all game.
Yeah, and being able to see Bronx Prep now for a full 16 minutes here, Joe, that seems to be their game. They are really good in transition. They are really good turning defense into offense quickly. Their half-court game hasn't been bad. They've gotten some good looks, but their transition game has really been strong. Here we go again.
There's another steal. Here comes Parker. Parker bounced past Williams. He takes it inside. Good defense there by Gibbs and better offense by Williams.
Well, Williams has just been a power here for Bronx Prep, the Trailblazers, and he is one of them. Jordan Williams, living up to the first name.
Can't say I can disagree there. As that shot catches nothing but the backboard, perhaps a bit of a forced shot there. And here come the Trailblazers.
Yeah, I don't like that last shot by Williamsburg because I just was saying how patient they've been, how they've stayed true to themselves. That was a little rush there from the outside, maybe sensing a little bit too much urgency.
This is Williams again, isolated. And he gets right to the rim but can't finish the scoop layup. Rebound Parker. Parker, another chance, draws a foul. And that's something that we've seen at the other end of the floor. The Wolverines have been all over the offensive glass in this game. That time it's the Trailblazers capitalizing off an offensive board.
Yeah, obviously we'll see the replay here as getting another look at it was Parker. Now, he doesn't get that last one to go, but good job of boxing out, earning himself some extra possessions there as we get our first timeout of the third quarter.
Well, Parker took a shot to the face on that attempt, so that probably benefits him. He'll get a chance to shake that one off before he heads to the line. And a couple of free throws here have a chance to give his team a 5-point lead again. And early in the second half, you have to like what you've seen from the Trailblazers defensively. We saw much of that in the first half. They've turned it up a notch early in this third quarter.
Well, they scored the first 6 points of the first half. They scored the first 4 points here of the second half. And, they've want to maximize on that transition game. And yes, them too, going into the halftime down by 1 after really having the lead the entire first half, instead of hanging your head, you come right back here in the second half, grab the lead again, and now again, Bronx is in control of this game. Can they keep control here for the final 14 minutes and 20 seconds?
And we spoke about overcoming adversity during the pregame as well. The Wolverines arrived a bit late, had a short warm-up, and they took a big punch early from the Trailblazers with that 6-0 start. They responded in the first half, led at halftime. Do they have another answer in them here? As just over 90 seconds have gone by in this third quarter, yet a 1-point lead has turned into a 3-point deficit and a chance for Parker to make it 5 at the line. First free throw is good.
Both teams, by my count anyway, Joe, 3 for 5 at the line with that last make for Parker.
And Parker goes 2 for 2 from the stripe.
Ooh, and a quick turnover there as Williamsburg went over the line and back again. Tawas pass with the big error, another Williamsburg turnover here.
That's an unfortunate break, as it didn't look like he had any intention of making a pass, and the turnover becomes an easy 2 points for Bronx Prep as Parker lays in off the nice feed. It's now 28-21, 8-0 run to start the quarter.
Get a look at that last play right off of the inbound. Great look there inside, and finishing it off was Parker.
Doesn't get any easier than that if you're the Trailblazers. They've scored the first 8 here in the third. This is Gibbs. Nice bounce pass inside, and the layup is blown by Burrows. And he accidentally took his own man down on the way up the floor. Does not affect the play, as this is Frimpong on the pull-up from 3 off back iron. Rebounded by the Trailblazers and brought back outside by Robinson. Robinson is defended by Gibbs on the wing. He feeds inside. Alanson Kanye dribbled on the baseline, and that's a turnover as possession goes to Williamsburg.
Yeah, we'll see now. Williamsburg has not scored yet in this second half. We're only 2.5 minutes in, but still, the longer you go without scoring here, the more it starts to creep into your head a little bit. So Williamsburg really needs to get on the board here.
Tawas pass back over to Gibbs on the wing. They're playing catch on the outside right now. Gibbs left open. And you can count it from distance, and the foul. Huge basket for Isaiah Gibbs and the Wolverines, as he will have a chance for a 4-point play at the line. It's now a 4-point game.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get this last one, but there's the look, there's the foul, and a chance to make it a 4-point play.
Big basket for Gibbs and the Wolverines, and he converts on the 4-point play. It's now a 3-point game just like that, as Gibbs commits the foul. Gibbs continuing to pressure following that last whistle. And Williams will bring it up.
I'll tell you what, if Williamsburg comes back and wins this game, that 4-point play was just enormous. First points of the half for Williamsburg, and it cuts a 7-point deficit into 4.
And Williams draws the foul, but I'm not sure there's a play that does a better job at jump-starting an offense than a 4-point play. You can't get any more than that on a single possession, barring a pre-inbound away from the play foul.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm not sure how often that occurs. Now that I've mentioned it, we'll see one later in this game as Williams hits the first of 2 free throws.
Right, exactly.
One more from the line coming up for Jordan Williams. He goes 1 for 2. That was tipped by Frimpong and pulled in by Toas Pass.
Bronx Prep now 5 for 8 from the free throw line. Williamsburg tonight 4 for 6.
This is Gibbs off the spin, and he does not get the roll. Frimpong with the rebound, and the Trailblazers look to run. Williams inside. And a foul was called before the shot attempt. That's 4 on Williamsburg.
I think we were well into the second quarter before we saw our 5th total foul in the game in the first half. And here we are just 3 minutes and 30 seconds in, and we've had 5 total fouls in this one, 4 against Williamsburg now. That'll play a factor down the stretch as well.
Trailblazers almost got caught with 6 on the floor. Frimpong into the paint, pulls up, can't get it to go, and Gibbs has the rebound. Toas Pass with it now. He crosses over and looks to attack, but he lost the ball. Here comes Bronx Prep in transition. The ball was poked away by Burrows. Parker stayed with it, couldn't finish, and Gibbs has the board. Long outlet up the floor. Perez has it. He fakes and is fouled from behind.
Frenzied play, and all due to, of course, the miss on the other end by Bronx Prep. Perez stayed put and was able to catch up to that one, but not before 2 players were able to knock him on the top of the crown, and he'll go to the line.
Pace of this game has quickened just a bit here in this third quarter, as Perez makes it a 1-possession game with that free throw. .403 to go in this third quarter. It seems like we've been playing for a lot longer than that here in quarter number 3.
A lot more stoppages in this quarter than in the first 2.
And the free throw by Perez is good. He goes 2 for 2 from the line. It's now a 2-point game.
Yep. Williamsburg as a team, 6 for 8 from the stripe.
They have scored 6 of the last 7 points now, as Williams hop steps and can't get the bank shot to go. Rebound goes to Gaiva. It's stolen away by Toas Pass. Chance for the Wolverines to tie or take the lead, and they will not tie on that shot. But Burrows tracks it down and could not save it. He thought he had, but instead it will be Trailblazers basketball.
Yeah, he pleads his case to no avail, but Bronx will get it back, a chance to improve now to a 2-possession lead over Williamsburg.
Williams swings it. Arthur can't bank it in. It's rebounded by Perez. Here come the Wolverines looking to run. And Gibbs will wait for his teammates and slow it down. He's defended closely by Robinson. Gets by him. And the layup is no good, but a foul was called, and Gibbs will head to the line for 2 shots.
Yep, Williamsburg has now hit their last 4 free throws, including one by Gibbs on the 4-point play. This will be a critical 2 here. Draw Williamsburg even if he's able to make both.
First free throw by Gibbs, no good. One more for him from the line. Looking to make this a 1-point game. And Gibbs goes 0 for 2. Those add up over the course of a game, especially with a chance to tie from the line.
Yep, 6 for 10 from the line, Williamsburg, here this afternoon.
Williams swings it, and that was telegraphed. Here comes Gibbs. Nice crossover, and the layup is good. The score is tied at 29. Defense leading to offense on the side of the Wolverines on that last possession. The pass by Williams was telegraphed. Gibbs all over it, and he converts on the easy 2. Williams stumbles, throws one up, and he traveled.
Go back to that last play from Gibbs. You can see the turnover on your screen. Look at that great move to cross over and gets the layup to go. Nice job to knot the game even at 29 apiece. It's essentially 0-0.
It's now an 8-1 run for the Wolverines, who commit the offensive foul on the moving screen. And the Trailblazers get it right back with the score even at 29. Williams will bring it up. Now Arthur. He'll try a three. No good. Williams, offensive board, and an easy two. And I would love to see the second chance points tally in this game, as these two teams done a great job on the offensive glass, making the most of their second chances. Shot fake. Floater, no good, but Burrows has the putback off the offensive board, and we're now tied at 31.
Yeah, so the Sluggers punch back and draw even once again. Two nice plays on both sides of the floor that time.
Williams gets right to the rim and lays it in. That's too easy.
100%.
Williamsburg bench can't like that.
Nope.
Toas' pass was doubled and threw it out of bounds.
Let's go back to the first play that was made by Williams a little earlier off the three-point miss. Williams catches up to it, draws a crowd, but gets away for the easy layup.
Scrambles for rebounds, scrambles for loose balls have generated opportunities on both sides. As Williams gets inside, can't finish, and Parker is there. Another offensive rebound, two more second chance points for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, you just have a feeling that Williams was going to make that last run, and unfortunately he short-armed it a little bit, but right there to pick up the pieces was Parker. Nice job. Puts the Bronx Prep team up once again by multiple possessions.
Toas' pass on the pull-up, and he buries it.
Ice cold there. Toas' pass needed that one to go, and he got it.
And even when Williams on the side of the Trailblazers hasn't finished, he draws so much attention and such a crowd that it has opened up chances for offensive rebounds by his teammates. And specifically here in this third quarter, Bronx Prep has capitalized on those chances, as they will hold potentially for one final shot. And Williams was fouled. They have that as the 16th foul, which will set up free throws for the Trailblazers.
Yep, got a good look at that last bucket for Bronx Prep to give them a 4-point lead, and since been knocked down to a one-possession game, and now free throws.
Here in this third quarter, the Trailblazers have done a good job from the line. One more coming for Williams. No good. With a chance to make it a two-possession game right there.
Both teams 6 of 10 from the free throw line as we have another big turnover.
You hate to see that if you're the Wolverines. They had the final shot and were assured of going into the fourth down no more than one possession. Instead, a chance here for the Trailblazers as that ball was kicked.
Yeah, you got a chance to see on the last replay the jumper by Toas' pass. One of the few mid-range knockdowns for Williamsburg in this one, though they've had a couple in this quarter. Clock has been reset to 6.3 seconds. Undoubtedly, Bronx Prep with the final opportunity.
Williams all the way. No whistle following that collision. And that will do it for the third quarter. After leading by one at the half, Williamsburg now trails Bronx Prep 36-33. And Dave, it looks like we have a good one in store for us as we head to the fourth quarter.
100%, and we had a feeling that this was going to be in this range, high 40s, mid 50s to close this one out, and I think we'll be right there. And that was a really entertaining quarter that really could have gone away from both teams, Joe. Bronx Prep entered the third quarter down by one. They scored the first 8 points of the third before a response by Williamsburg. They went on a major run, but great job by Bronx Prep to answer right back, take the lead and keep the lead. And right now the game is set up to be a one-possession game or a game that's going to come down to the final minute, I have no doubt that that's what we're in store for here in these final 8 minutes.
It sure seems we are headed in that direction. And after Bronx Prep started the first half ahead 6-0, it was really a back-and-forth first half. It wasn't really a first 16 minutes filled with scoring runs. It seems like in the last 8 minutes during that third quarter, it was a quarter that was comprised strictly of scoring runs. The Trailblazers came out of halftime, jumped out to a lead once again, a significant lead, I believe their largest of the game at one point. They led 28-21, went ahead by 7, but in response, the Wolverines came all the way back. The score was eventually evened up at 29 behind an 8-1 run from Williamsburg, and we head to the fourth with a run in progress for the Trailblazers. Of the final points in that quarter, they scored 7 of the last 11. So a small run, but a run that has given them a 3-point advantage entering the final 8 minutes.
Yeah, both teams got to the line in that quarter as well. The fouls obviously have been reset here for the start of the fourth quarter, but that could be a big determining factor as well. Right now, both teams 6 of 10 from the free throw line, so very even in that respect too. Bronx Prep will have the first possession here, and let's go. Final 8 minutes. Joe, take it away.
Boys B basketball championship will come down to this. 8 minutes on the clock. And Bronx Prep leads Williamsburg by 3, and that shot to make it 6 was no good.
What a good look, though, by Jordan Williams. He's been really burning this Williamsburg team, cutting into the inside that time. Left alone, top of the arc, just missed it.
Gibbs for Toas pass for the tie. And that's good. We are all knotted up at 36.
Only the second three-pointer of the game for Williamsburg, and that was a huge one right there.
Williams kicks out for Frimpong. He can't answer from distance, but Parker has another offensive rebound. Parker's gotten his points offensively, but he's done great work in the passing lanes and on the glass. As Frimpong will get a second chance, he can't connect from distance. And here come the Wolverines with a chance to take the lead. Toas pass, had space, kicks out to Gibbs. Shot fake, drive and floater, no good off the front rim.
Nice move, though, by Gibbs to get into the lane. Earned himself that short jumper, just missed it. It was a little bit short.
Williams will bring it up. That pass nearly tipped by Gibbs. Parker for 3. Off the back rim, no good.
And Bronx Prep, I believe, only with the 1 3-pointer in this game and have really been cold from outside.
That was very early. As Toas pass can't hit. Bench thought he was fouled. Williams surveys the floor. Had a screen, went the other way. Nearly lost the ball and gets it back. 6 minutes to play, fourth quarter.
And, Joe, it seems like a long time, 6 minutes, but really you only get 2 or 3 possessions per minute here. Time to make them all count.
And a foul is called, which will send Williams back to the line.
Go back to that last 3-pointer there for Williamsburg that tied the game. Toas pass makes it 36-36. That's where we've been stuck on here, and we'll see if Bronx Prep, with the first foul of the fourth quarter, can turn it into points the other way.
Jordan Williams at the line once again. He's been a frequent visitor to the stripe in this game. 2 shots coming up, and the first is no good. One more for Williams with a chance to give his team the lead. And that's off the mark. But the rebound is tipped out and brought in by Parker, nearly stolen by Burrows. And Parker saves it straight to Gibbs. Gibbs to the rim for the lead, no good. And the Trailblazers have it.
Gibbs was sensing pressure there. Needs to go up a little bit stronger with that layup.
And how about that sequence? Another turnover, maybe 2 officially, as Perez lays it in. The Wolverines go in front by 2.
Some harried play that time, and what great development the entire way.
And you just get the sense, Dave, that it's going to come down to one of the hustle plays, one of the gritty plays where a player ends up on the floor going after a loose ball as Williams draws another foul, and he's beginning to take over this game around the basket in part by getting to the line.
Take a look at that crazy rush that just ensued that puts Williamsburg back in front. Never giving up on the play, making sure you sacrifice your body for the loose ball. That's what these kids are doing on both sides. And Williamsburg with their first lead since opening up the half, up by 1. 21-20 was our halftime score.
These two teams also looking to put on a show for this crowd assembled, Dave.
Yep.
It's getting loud in here as this game has gone on. The gym beginning to fill up more and more.
Yeah, and you might notice our camera shaking a little bit during these free throws. That's because of the crowd that we are basically on top of here. That's the bleachers rattling up and down.
And once again, we are tied, this time at 38. Williams 2 for 2 from the line. Burrows left open, too strong from 3. And Frimpong has the rebound. Here comes Williams, attacking, gets inside, and his floater won't go. Wolverines will slow it down just a bit here. It's been a frantic pace that these two teams have played at for the last couple of minutes. Toas pass, bounce pass inside. And that shot was blocked on the attempt by Miranda Pimentel. Arthur throws one up and banks it in. How did he get that one to go, Dave?
Are you kidding me? We're going to see a replay of that in a little while, but looked like he was all sorts of, off balance, but what a job.
Looked like he put that one up in hopes of drawing a foul. I don't think anyone on the floor or in the stands expected that shot to go in. And an offensive foul is called on the play against Toas Pass, and I think on that one, he was penalized for being the bigger man as you get another look at that circus shot by Daniel Arthur.
Yeah, that was crazy. Might have to back that one up and look at it slow-mo a little bit later on, but got to give credit to Bronx Prep. Every time they've been down in this one, they've really have ice in their veins. They just really haven't flinched. Came right back, tied it up after the 3, and then they take the lead.
Bronx Prep has not trailed in this game by more than 2. This is Arthur. He had it stripped away. Good defensive play by Perez. The Trailblazers will reset. Williams drops it off, and Gibbs stole it away as he was fouled immediately following that takeaway.
Yeah, a little too much traffic that time. We'll take another look, a little bit slower this time. You see the release here, and wow. Only thing that would have made that better if it was a game winner, Joe.
That would have been something special. That shot even more impressive on the second look. It's still a 2-point lead for Bronx Prep as we approach 3 minutes to play. Gibbs kicks out for Perez. The mid-range jumper is off, and Burrows draws a foul following the offensive rebound. And Dave, once again, offensive rebounding and second chances coming up huge in this game.
Yeah, and that time Burrows the guard. You don't figure him to get the offensive rebound there, but tough carom off the side of the backboard on the would-be jumper by Perez, lands right in his hands, and wise enough Burrows to just put it right back up.
And a missed free throw at this juncture in the game could end up being the difference, as Burrows did miss the first.
Yeah, and Williamsburg now, after starting 6 of 8 from the line, have now missed their last 3 at the stripe, and you look at the difference in the scoreboard, there you go. Now they're 0 for their last 4 and 6 of 12 for the game.
50% oftentimes not good enough, as it remains a 2-point deficit for the Wolverines. Williams kicks out. Arthur left open. Can't connect from beyond the arc. Ball loose in the corner. And a timeout is called by the bench of Bronx Prep. That's a job well done by their coaching staff to get that timeout in ahead of an out-of-bounds call.
Yeah, and we're just under 3 minutes to go now. So, again, you got to figure you're only going to get 2, maybe 3 possessions per minute. And so you're coming down now to your final 8 to 10 possessions. And anytime that ball is in your hands, you have to guard it with your life. And that's exactly what Bronx Prep did. This will be a 30-second timeout as they regroup here. But essentially, Joe and I both thought it would be a one-possession game, and we have a feeling that will be the case here in this one as we head down the stretch.
I think they located a missing AirPods case, Dave. I was trying to listen in to public address, so I apologize in advance.
Speaking of public address, Joe, we should give a shout-out to Karim McFarland. Karim is the executive director, commissioner, if you would, of the CPSAL, along with Sadiq Nathaniel, heading things up for the Charter Public School Athletic League. And Karim pulling a little double duty. He's our DJ today. He's our public address announcer, and he's also the sharpest dressed man in the building, Joe.
There's no question about that. Is he the only one here in a suit? It appears
I think
that
so.
way. I feel underdressed now. Though we do have our company hoodies on today, so we are dressed appropriately, especially for the rain. This is Frimpong off the inbound, tied up by Burrows. And now Perez harassing Gaiva in the corner. Frimpong has it again. He hands off. Arthur can't get the scoop layup to go.
Oh, it looked good going up, but yeah, just missing it. A little bit too strong here as we approach 2.5 minutes to go.
That was a tough shot as Toas passed, dribbled it off his foot. Now, the possession arrow favors the Trailblazers here. That would have been an over and back. They probably should have just let the Wolverines touch the ball.
Yeah. So, well, they do.
I actually was mistaken.
Yeah.
The possession arrow favors the Wolverines.
Right. So they do get the next jump ball whistle,
Okay.
which is a positive that comes out of that play for sure.
So do you want the turnover or the arrow in that spot? That's the question. Toas pass, stifled. Good defense there. Underneath by Bronx Prep. As Toas pass nearly came back to force a turnover along the baseline.
There's a really big possession in the game right now.
To go ahead by 2 scores this late is a huge difference maker if you're the Trailblazers.
Yeah, as the team ahead, you always want to be up by multiple scores inside of 2 minutes. It becomes a little bit better to manage what you want to do.
Williams gets to the rim and can't finish.
He made a great move, had a great look, just couldn't finish.
And that outlet pass was a risky one, as it will be Trailblazers basketball. Burrows was up there all alone, had a defender right on top of him. And with him needing to go 1-on-3 just to score, or even think about scoring, that's a pass you probably don't want to make.
Yeah, tough decision that time off the miss. Having that possession a tie. If you're Bronx Prep, really in no hurry.
That pass, or I should say, that ball was stripped away from Williams as he worked his way inside. Bit surprised to see him go at the rim so aggressively in that spot, though. In a one-possession game, you kind of have to play it as you would normally, and it doesn't get any easier than that once again, Dave. Parker off the inbound pass with an easy lay-in. It's now a 2-possession game.
Yeah, he just got lost, you know what I mean? It wasn't marked up, and now if you're Williamsburg, you have to really force the issue.
And Gibbs lost his footing, lost the ball, and commits a foul.
And you go back to that last inbound, you could see Parker getting that separation right there and then smooth into the paint to make it a 2-point game. And now, if you're Bronx Prep, you are in absolutely no hurry to do anything here up by more than one possession.
4-point game as we reach 1 minute to go. And Williams was fouled. That's the 4th team foul against the Wolverines. Keep in mind as well, the Trailblazers also have the benefit of the possession arrow in this spot. So in addition to their advantage on the scoreboard, they have that working for them as well.
Right, and no more fouls to give here if you're the Wolverines. So anything will put you at the line. Actually, that was the 5th
That
one,
was
Joe.
the 5th.
They were 1 off on the scoreboard, so that will put the Trailblazers at the line. And these are enormous free throws here. They are 8 for 14 from the line today. Make it 8 for 15, approaching that 50% mark.
Well, if free throws are missed down the stretch, this game could end up prolonged for quite some time. as we are now under a minute to play, and that free throw makes it a 5-point game.
Well, old assistant coach I used to know, Georgetown Hall of Famer Matt White, always used to say, if you would have made half of the free throws you missed and won the game, then you know free throws lost you the game. So it's always a good rule of thumb that I've used in the past.
That's a really good way of thinking about it, as the ball was nearly turned over in the corner by the Wolverines. Instead, the Trailblazers touched it with a foot on the baseline, so Williamsburg gets bailed out in that spot and will have another chance. Trailing by 5, they need a basket.
Absolutely, here with 50 seconds to go.
Kick ball stops the clock again with an even 50 seconds to play. Inbound goes to Gibbs. He fakes and kicks out. Toas pass in traffic, draws a foul.
Yeah, he wanted that contact and he got it. So now Toas's past job is to make these free throws. He earned them, he got there, he got what he wanted, and now he needs to make these. And again, commentators jinx, they have missed their last 4 at the line. They're 6 of 12 for the afternoon. So these are 2 huge ones.
Williams on that play for Bronx Prep tried to sell the charging violation as well, as Toas pass misses the first. And you get the sense they have to have this one, Dave. Otherwise, It's going to be a very, very tough road back. Huge free throw coming up here. Chance to cut the lead to 4. And that won't go. Rebound Williams, and he is fouled.
Yeah, and Williamsburg missing their last 6 free throws in this game. They're now down to 6 of 14 from the line in the game, and that's a lot of missed free throws, 8 in total, and it puts Bronx Prep right back at the line as Williamsburg wants for time here in this one. Because you know what, Joe? Even if Bronx Prep makes these 2 free throws, it's still a 2-possession game no matter how you shake it out. Now, obviously, you need the 2 threes, which are going to be a lot tougher than where you are at now.
Well, it would actually be a 7-point game.
Sorry.
2 free throws probably ices this game, which is why that second
Correct.
free throw was so important.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're the Trailblazers and you get the job done from the line on this trip, you've likely won yourself a Boys B basketball championship in the CPSAL.
Yep. And I think what head coach Darian Ray Long is saying to his players now is if we get a miss, even one miss, we need 2 quick points. We need a very quick basket the other way. Here's what we need to do on that next possession. And then from there, see what develops, whether you're going to have to need a 3 to win the game or tie the game. Tie the game most likely. If there's a miss here on this one, we'll see.
Well, they need a miss.
Right.
They must have at least one. If this becomes a 3-possession game, the road back becomes nearly impossible.
And this is the 6th team foul, even though the scoreboard here says 5. The last one we had was the 5th, so this is the 6th. 2-shot foul, however.
And the first free throw is good. And oftentimes you make that first one, much of the pressure comes off ahead of the second.
Yeah, absolutely, because now it is a 2-possession game with 2 3-pointers needed to tie. That could have iced it.
That makes it a 7-point game. The Wolverines will have to work quickly to have any chance. Gibbs crosses over to his left, pulls up, can't bank it in. And the tip goes in off of a Trailblazer. It's a 5-point game.
It needs a foul.
Parker is fouled with 27.6 to go.
So, again, it'll be another chance to ice the game here at the free throw line.
The question is, even with a miss, is there enough time? They're going to need a lot of help. That took about 13 seconds.
I was going to say 13.
Yep. Took about 13 seconds to get a basket there as Parker hits the free throw. Parker's really done it all for the Trailblazers in this game. He's been a huge factor on the glass, a huge factor defensively, and has scored quite a bit in this game. Made a huge impact offensively early in this one. And on the offensive glass here in the second half has come up huge as he makes the lead 7 again. Gibbs out to Burrows for 3. And that nearly went down. But Burrows did not get the roll, and that should do it.
So unlucky. Yeah, that was halfway down before it rattled out. And, again, free throws, we said it during pregame, we said it at halftime. It's going to be important. And how about Bronx Prep? 6 of their last 6 from the line since starting out, 8 of 15. And on the opposite side, the Wolverines, having missed their last 6 free throws, it's just, you look at the difference in the score, and there you have it.
Well, you nailed it during our lead up to the game earlier in the day. Free throws always critical in a game like this, and down the stretch with a chance to put this game on ice, Bronx Prep has been perfect from the line. The question is, did I just jinx it? That's always the question.
Of course we did. Oh,
I did not. Not today. 16 seconds to go, 9-point game.
Biggest lead of the game for Bronx Prep.
Feed inside into heavy traffic is stolen. The Wolverines will not foul. Or will they?
Went out of bounds on Parker, so they'll give up possession. But with 2.1, Bronx Prep could start celebrating here. A well-fought and well-earned victory for the Trailblazers.
And the Trailblazers of Bronx Prep have won the CPSAL Boys B Basketball Championship as they defeat the Wolverines of Williamsburg Prep 49-40.
Yeah, and you know what, Joe? For all the things, Bronx Prep was up for the most part in this game, pretty much from wire to wire. There were a couple of times where they lost the lead, but what I really liked about this team was they didn't let it get away from them when Williamsburg came back and took the lead a couple of times. The very resolute Bronx team, they stayed who they are, transition basketball, great defense leads to great offense, and Jordan Williams, Cameron Parker, 2 excellent games for those 2 guys, and Bronx Prep a truly deserving B-side champion for the CPSAL.
Absolutely. These 2 teams put on a show in this one. This game was close entering the 4th. It was close down the stretch, but Bronx Prep was able to seal the victory from the free throw line. As you see on your screen, Cameron Parker fired up. He had himself a tremendous game in this one. As I mentioned in the closing seconds, he was a factor on the glass. He was a factor offensively. He was a factor defensively. Jordan Williams got to the rim almost at will for the Trailblazers in this game, and even when he didn't convert on his chances, he was able to draw plenty of attention, was able to draw contact. That attention he drew opened up opportunities for his teammates to grab offensive rebounds, and of course, the contact he drew got him to the free throw line where the Trailblazers were the better team in this game. They were far more efficient from the charity stripe and down the stretch. That was the difference. As you mentioned, at one point, the Wolverines missed 6 straight free throws. Those 6 points in the closing minutes were huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were pretty much stuck at 40 for a long time in this game and just never scored again. And Joe, we're going to keep it down here to listen to some of the public address, and we'll do a little bit of the translating for you in case you don't pick it up on our headsets. But Assistant Commissioner Sadiq Nathaniel is getting set to honor these kids who've done a great job all year long during the winter varsity basketball segment. And we'll see if we can pick up some of the audio here.
All right, so we'll take our headsets off and crank up the volume so you can hear what's going on down at center court. We'll be right back.
In sports, there's no winners or losers. The reason y'all here is because y'all both will see. Y'all deserve the right to be here. Don't forget that. Y'all deserve the right to be here. So regardless of that being said, there's only one champion in 2024 to be the big champion. Bronx Prep.
We're going to present the MVP trophy. It's Jordan Williams, MVP. Jordan Williams. Jordan Williams, MVP. You can get dressed in the locker room. You can get dressed in the locker room. But y'all got to play it full, like, so the girls can get good time, play benches.
And we are back here from the Apex in the Bronx as our 2024 CPSAL Boys B basketball champions, the Trailblazers of Bronx Prep, have received their trophy at center court, and the MVP has been chosen. It is Jordan Williams who receives Most Valuable Player honors in this year's championship. Well-deserved, Dave. He put on a show. His team deserving champions, and it was a very entertaining first game of the day. It's hard to believe we still have 2 more to go.
Yeah, 2 more to go, and for those of you who are tuned in right now, we did get this one off a little bit later than anticipated, so we would expect that we're closer to about a 2 p.m. tip-off time for our girls' championship, in case you were looking for that game. But absolutely, Joe, you're right. Bronx Prep, truly deserving B-side champions in a great game down the stretch. Truly deserving MVP award for Jordan Williams. And there you go, folks. Bronx Prep, your B-Boys champions for the CPSAL.
Congratulations to the Trailblazers. As for us, we will sign off and get prepared for our second of 3 broadcasts on the day. My name is Joe Foreman, and for my broadcast partner, David Pizzuto, and our camera operator today, Sal Cuccio, all of us, thank you for watching. This has been coverage of the 2024 CPSAL Boys B Basketball Championship, powered by the PDF Sports Network on CPSAL TV. Game 2 coming up next right here. Stay tuned. The Girls Basketball Championship coming up next as Success Academy Manhattan takes on Dream Charter Schools. Different stream, same place, coming up right after this.
There's no place for that.